Numbers don't lie, but the suits sure do. They printing that paper while you chasing what's due. Ledger got no borders, can't fake what's true. Digital escape hatch, I'm breaking through. Blindfolds tight, but my vision stay clear. System rig heavy, still I persevere. Centralized puppets, man, they pulling them strings. I'm out here stacking sets while they sell you false kings. Decentralized dreams, we breaking the seams. Freedom ain't free, but I'm chasing the means. Blockchain the truth, no shadow regimes. Decentralized dreams, yeah, decentralized dreams. Fiat's a leash and they got us on choke. Inflation's a virus, whole system's a joke. Gold got heavy so they turned it to smoke. Now I hold private keys, ain't no chains on my throat. Bank runs coming, man, the writing's on walls. Bailouts for the rich, crumbs for us all. But code don't lie, numbers don't lie. Raw. They fear what they can't own, so they outlaw. 21 million, the people's decree. Math over muscle, that's financial decree. No middleman tax and my wallet stay free. Numbers don't lie, but the suits sure do. They printing that paper while you chasing what's due. Ledger got no borders, can't fake what's true. Digital escape hatch, I'm breaking through. Blindfolds tight, but my vision stay clear. System rigged heavy, still I persevere. Centralized puppets, man, they pulling them strings. I'm out here stacking sats while they sell you false kings. Decentralized dreams, we breaking the seams. Freedom ain't free, but I'm chasing the means. No shadow regimes. Decentralized dreams, yeah, decentralized dreams. Fiat's a leash and they got us on choke. Inflation's a virus, whole system's a joke. Gold got heavy so they turned into smoke. Now I hold private keys, ain't no chains on my throat. Bank runs coming, man, the writing's on walls. Bailouts for the rich, crumbs for us all. But code don't lie, it's trustless and raw. They fear what they can't own, so they outlaw. 21 million, the people's decree. Math over muscle, that's financial decree. No middleman tax and my wallet stay free. 21 million. 21 million. 21 million. Numbers don't lie, but the suits sure do. They printing that paper while you chasing what's due. Ledger got no borders, can't fake what's true. Digital escape hatch, I'm breaking through.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. YouTube was giving me a little bit of troubles here at the beginning, so we will see if the stream makes it all the way through. The X stream is working, so if anything does happen, if you're following me on X, you can continue to watch the stream there. But, I've been a little unhappy with Streamlabs' new update, so that's really been the problem. They dropped some new software in there, and it's given a little bit of problems, so we'll see how this goes. But we got a lot of news to talk about today. Jerome Powell spoke yesterday. He had some interesting things to say. We're seeing an AVAX Treasury coming on out. Of all the altcoins that I've really seen backed for Treasury, I'm a little more okay with an AVAX Treasury, definitely a project with a lot of utility on it. But before we get to all of the news, you know what I got pulled up in the background? It is that stock heat map. We are seeing a little bit of some movements this morning, so let's dive on in, get you prepped for some success today. We do have Apple sitting to the downside off of its close yesterday, was down 0.64%, looking to the upside 0.05 this morning. We've got Nvidia seeing some massive sell-off yesterday, down 2.82%. Nothing too concerning though. They did get some massive moves towards the upside after a deal with Intel. They are looking in the green this morning, up 0.6%. We got Berkshire Hathaway was up 0.08% yesterday, down 0.08% in the pre-market. So, taking back all of those gains from yesterday, we've got Amazon down 3.04%. Looking to the upside this morning, 1.61. We got Eli Lilly continuing to see some downside from yesterday, down 0.2 this morning. ExxonMobil up 1.72, seeing some continued buying pressure this morning, up 0.09. We got Tesla down 1.93, seeing a little bit of some buying pressure this morning, up 0.78. We got P&G down 0.37 and continuing to see a little bit of sell pressure this morning, down 0.01. We've got Microsoft down 1.01 and seeing that upside this morning, up 0.21. We've got Google down 0.21, trying to take back all of those losses this morning, up 0.18. And we've got Meta down 1.28 and seeing some green pressure this morning, up 0.48. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things because we're seeing some pretty green bubbles and some big red bubbles as well. Pretty mixed, just like that traditional markets has been, and we'll just kind of have to take a look and see where we might end up a little bit later. We did talk about some massive pullback on hype. So, if you've been following over here, you were expecting this move. Might have to take a look at that chart again a little bit later. If we do have any alt requests that we would like to take a trade on this morning, go ahead, throw those in the chat for me because I got the exchange pulled up. We had a successful link trade the other day. Came very, very close to TP2, but it is time for another one. So let's find out what trade we want to take this morning. I see Jesse chiming in over on the X. So I appreciate you, Jesse, for helping out on both sides of things. We got 8 people over on X as well. So appreciate you tuning on in over there. Let's dive into these crypto bubbles because we are starting to see a little bit of green on this hourly. Bitcoin down 0.3%. We've got Ethereum down 0.4%. We've got XRP up 0.6%. BNB down up 2.8%. We've got Solana down 3.8%. Dogecoin sitting up 0.1%. We've got red on Tron down a whole percent right now. Cardano down 0.6. We've got Chainlink looking a little bit neutral on that daily, sitting with a position up on that market cap, was sitting at 13, now taking that number 11 position. We've got Avalanche down 1.5 and losing 2 spots in that market cap. SWI up a position in the market cap and up 0.6 while it took that spot from Hyperliquid, and Hyperliquid losing that spot, down 7.8%. We've got Stellar Lumens with no change on the board. Bitcoin Cash down 0.3. We've got HBAR down 0.5. We've got Leo token looking quite nice, up 0.6%, and Litecoin up 0.8%. I see a few requests in there for a trade, so let me see what we got. We got XLM, AVNT, and DOT, and then Jesse saying Hemi. That doesn't look like one of those bigger projects, but we can take a look at Hemi a little bit later in the show, Jesse. So Hemi, and let's get those other ones put up there. AVNT, DOT, and XLM. I've been eyeing XLM really hard. So I am a big fan of it. It is one of those dino projects. It's got a lot of utility on it. We are sitting at 58 and still sitting in greed on the stock market side. For the crypto side of things, we are up a point but still sitting in some fear. We did maintain a key level that we had been looking at from last week. Really waiting to see if we can grab up this top side liquidity this morning and then again retest on some levels below us. We do have that top side liquidity coming in at $113,000. That's going to be that real area where we might start seeing a little bit of some resistance. There is some top side liquidity on a higher term time frame, a little bit above that, but we do have that old CME gap to really watch to see if we can get back into, because that has been some local resistance and it'll be our first little battleground there. We got that top side liquidity on the 3-day coming in at almost $114,000. So quite a bit of range of liquidity directly above us. If we do get a volatile move towards the upside, that would be where I would look for. If you zoom this on out a little bit further, that 1 week not really showing it, but that 2 week really shows us that top side liquidity for Bitcoin, and that's coming in all the way back up at $118,000 all the way to $118,800. So quite a broad range of liquidity towards the top side. We will have to see if we can get back into that old CME gap and then continue to make our way towards the upside there. Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart and economic calendar real quick, and then we'll say good morning to the people in the chat. We did have a few things to keep our eye on today. That's going to be at 7 a.m. Eastern time. We get our 30-year mortgage rates applications. Not a massive market mover, but something to keep your eye on. We have been seeing a little bit of a slowdown on housing, but you do see the housing market holding quite steady, at least for now. New builds have really been holding things up. We do have a little bit more data coming out in the afternoon, a bunch of that crude oil information. I do watch all of that. You know, oil makes the world go round, so always good to keep your eye on that. But our big data for today, I believe, is going to be the Fed daily speech. Not a big market mover, but the big data drop, because we have been seeing a little bit of a switch up from these Fed board members and even Jerome Powell. So we will get into that Jerome Powell speech here in just a second, but I did want to tease tomorrow's data, which is what this all might be in some preparation for. We have another Fed chair speak tomorrow, and we've got durable goods orders and GDP data. So a lot of these moves today are going to be in preparation for tomorrow's big moves. All right, let's get that Bitcoin chart pulled up, see what we got going on in the chats here. We had Caliphant first in the chat this morning. She beat Jessica Luck here. She said, good morning, good morning. Good morning to you, Caliphant. I know it's super late where you are, so glad you were able to join us. We got Jessica Luck in the chat saying good morning to me and good morning to everyone else. Said to hit that like button, so if you're over here on YouTube, go ahead, hit that like button for me. It really helps us on out, and it's a free way to support the channel. We got Jay in the chat. We got Curtis Hill in here as well. Jay was asking about the tunes. X got all the tunes, but YouTube was having a little bit of struggles. It does look like it's having a few more issues, so we will see if it makes it the rest of the way through. We got Dylan VA in here. Good morning to you, sir. Let's see who else we got. We've got Trade Intuition. If you got those bingo bangos, go ahead, throw them in the chat. Or if you know, throw those magnets in the chat as well. If you're not following Trade Intuition, you definitely should be. I know I got his link here. Yep, first on my list. So here's that. If you're not following him, you definitely should be. We got those alt requests to take a look at after we take a look at Bitcoin to see if we want to take that trade this morning. Let me get that poll in the chat. Are we going to go up or are we going to go down? So long or short today. And we'll see what you guys want to do there. We've got, let's see if that poll would get out of my way. Looks like no one else there. So we did have those 3 requests to take a look at, and then an alt request for the end. New builds are keeping me busy as hell. Did 22 last week and looks like another this week. Yeah, that's what's been keeping me very busy too. I do the dirt work for before neighborhoods go in. So we've been on an absolute grind this year. We've knocked out at least 4 new developments this year. Extremely busy. New builds going up like crazy. That is what's been holding up the housing market. We got a request from Steve Hickey as well. He said lurking from the gym. He asked for sweet. Well, we can definitely do that one as well. So let's dive on into this Bitcoin chart. See if we want to take a trade on Bitcoin or one of these altcoins y'all have requested today. We're seeing a little bit of some hopium here on this daily time frame. You're starting to see a little bit of sideways momentum coming on in here as we approach that 0 line on the MACD. And we're seeing a little bit of sideways momentum coming in on the prime oscillator as well. We got that money flow looking quite nice. You are extremely close to breaking into that green money flow here. We do have resistance directly above us, so we'll kind of have to watch that. Do you think Bitcoin is in an ABC correction? I mean, it is quite possible. As you see here, we had that higher high, you got that lower low here, you got a lower high, and this is what we're really watching. That's why I warned about some downside action in the Discord yesterday. If you're not in the Discord, you are missing on out. I went through some downside potentials that I was looking for that might not be too beautiful, but that first range we really want to keep our eye on for a lower low would be coming in at 106,800. We do have a lot of bearishness on the weekly chart, and if we are unable to really break back into this old CME gap that we closed here on this upside move, then we might see us lose 111,800. This is that area I'm really watching for us to close, hold above, because that is the bottom side of this sideways range here. We do have our point of control. That was our resistance. So I'm really watching what happens with the bottom side of this range. This was a nice little liquidity sweep and retest of old all-time highs there. Not too unexpected moves. We've done that over and over and over again this cycle. We're just waiting to see if we can hold this, really have this coming in as a higher low here, and then maybe reverse that trend, push back towards the upside. But we do have a lot of sell pressure to get above first. Zooming this on in, taking a look at that 4-hour chart. We're seeing a lot of sideways momentum on top of that 111,800. We got a lot of candle body closes directly on top of it here. That was the bottom side range we've been watching to hold, and we're starting to see a little bit of hopium on the 4-hour as well. You can see that MACD and prime oscillator both getting that curvature back towards the upside here. Money flow also getting some curvature here, and we're really waiting to see if we can get those big bodied candles to break us back into the CME gap. I would expect for a little bit of some resistance at 115,200 if we can break back into the CME gap. That's where we got all of our support on when we were in the CME gap and got that move towards the upside. That is that midline, and if you've been following, you know that we test on those gaps on the midline quite often. So that's why I watch for those gaps on the midline, see if we can get above. Normally, if we can hold the top side of a gap, we can end up continuing out of the gap. If we don't hold that midline, breaking back below the gap is normally what happens there. And that's exactly what happened with this price action. We're waiting to see what happens if we can get back into the gap here. We are seeing that bottom side come in as our local resistance, and that is that 113,500 area. That is directly in the middle of all of that top side liquidity that we were looking at on the midday. So we do have a little bit that comes in a little under that 113 down here where we had that top side on these 4 hours, and it ranges all the way up into our CME gap there. So that is an old CME gap. It is closed, but Bitcoin really likes to retest on all of those gaps, old fair value gaps and old CME gaps here. Hourly is starting to see a little bit of toppiness here on the prime oscillator, not overpowering all of that selling pressure that we've been seeing. Looks like YouTube having a little bit of troubles there, so hopefully it picks back up. If you're over there on the X, definitely the place to be this morning, and we will see if we can get some of those settings fixed here. MACD is trying to break that zero line, and we're trying to see if we can overpower that selling pressure that we saw through all of this. We have been seeing heavy selling pressure coming on in at that 113,500 level, and we're really waiting to see what happens at that price point. That is going to be our local resistance here on the hourly and the big area to start doing some battle with. We are seeing some continued upside here on the shorter term time frame though. Let me get that on the 15-minute. You are seeing a little bit of some continuation patterns towards the upside. You are sitting in the light red all over again, and your money flow is just breaking into the green this morning. So definitely an area to kind of watch for. We do have plenty of room to continue here if you can continue to see that money flow coming on in. Let me get that moved over. That green money flow coming on in. Sound cutting in and out, says Jesse. That's what happened last time. Apparently you gotta leave and then come back and the sound's all good. I'm going to have to figure out some of these settings because YouTube has really been irking me with the Streamlabs settings. I tweaked some of them. It was doing fine the past few days, and then all of a sudden this morning it told me to go screw myself. And I streamed the morning market report yesterday and had no issues, so that's why I'm not understanding what's going on. So yeah, that was the issue. Perfect now, says Jesse. Well, hopefully it keeps on trucking and we will make it through the whole show. But X seems to be doing fine. We got 14 people over there and 15 people on the YouTube this morning, so appreciate all of you. We do have this local resistance that we're watching for on Bitcoin. So we will kind of have to see if we sweep that liquidity, hold that CME gap, and then continue on towards the upside. If we don't hold this CME gap, coming back down, really retesting on the point of control of this range would be what I would look for. That's coming in at 112,800. That's where we got most of our price action in this consolidation range here. So that's what I got for Bitcoin this morning. Let's take a look at a few of those alt requests real quick, see what y'all are favoring for a trade. We got 89% voting for a long. Let's end that poll. Before you vote on this next poll though, let's get through the TA on that. So we got Bitcoin, we've got AVNT, we've got XLM and SUI. All right. Oh, it did not add those other ones. Hold on. XLM and SUI. All right. Before we vote on those, though, let me get into that TA. Unless you're voting on Bitcoin, because I prefer trades on Bitcoin, but you know, I'm a little more old school on my trading. So, and Hemi, we will take a look at Hemi a little bit later, Jesse. We only have so many options on the poll there, so I'm not trying to throw too many. We got a whole more to get into this morning. So let's dive into that XLM first real quick, see if we want to take a trade on that. Has been continuing its consolidation quite nicely here. We are holding our support. support coming in at that 35-cent level over and over. We have been seeing that resistance really be our battle zone. This has been resistance since July here. So nice little consolidation. We are waiting to see if we can break above it here. That daily does look like you might see that drop back below the 50% line if you continue to see that money flow coming in the red there. Let's get that hidden so you can see that chart just a little bit better there. MACD is looking a little bit nice for a break out of our consolidation range here. And if we can break out of it, we've got plenty of room towards the upside here. As you can see, this is a giant move towards the upside that could really put us above this 236 here. Maybe retest on some levels we haven't been at since back in March, December of last year. So definitely an area to kind of keep your eye on for XLM right now. This is why I've been eyeing XLM extremely hard for a move towards the upside. It has been consolidating for the past couple of months here, and it has been holding support a little bit better than some of these other alts have. So definitely seeing a little bit of hopium there, but let's get this on the shorter term time frame. See what we're looking at on the hourly, and then where we might want to take a stab at a trade here. Was the Discord recorded yesterday? It was not. It was more of an AMA, so didn't record that one. We mainly had some fun. We talked about some gold and some silver and some copper and things like that, but I will be doing another one this afternoon, so keep your eye out for that one. We are seeing that MACD breaking our zero line here, are seeing a little bit of some resistance at our local level, but that money flow is going to be the thing to watch. Seeing a little bit of sideways momentum come in on the prime oscillator, but you've got plenty of room to run towards the upside here. Would like to see us retest on all of these candle bodies right here to kind of cool off the shorter term time frame. And that's coming in at 36.72. So might be a spot to take a limit order on that. That is going to be our short term time frame bouncing area to kind of keep our eye on. About 36.78. We will kind of have to see if we can get that continuation of money flow though on the shorter term time frame. You can see a lot of testing on that area. We did get a nice little move off of it. Would like to see a little bit of a retest on top of that to see some continuation, and then target some of these highs from these lows from up here coming in about 37.96, especially with how much resistance we've seen at that level from all the way back here as well. So that'd be that upside target there. Another area to kind of keep our eye on would be our local resistance at 37.50. So if we can get above that, in that local resistance at the 50% line, we are seeing a little bearishness here on the 50% and on our oscillators as well. Would wait to see if we can get that continued curvature and a break back towards the upside. Let's see what we're looking like on the hourly there. Hourly is seeing a little bit of hopium on our oscillators, but this money flow really concerns me here. We did get this massive move towards the upside, and we are holding that golden pocket quite nicely, so that's something to kind of keep our eye on. We could retest some of these levels from back here all over again, $1.94, and that'd be a nice area to see some continued bouncing action off of. That is where we get all of our candle body tests. It is what has been holding price action up this morning as well. So definitely an area to kind of keep your eye on. That's where we get all of those tests. If it would come in a little bit better, there we go. That's where we get all of our bouncing action. 193. So definitely an area to kind of watch for this morning. Would be a nice little area for an entry if we continue to roll over there. So oscillators a little more cooled off here than some of those other ones, but you can see this is a little bit of a downtrend here. We are making those lower highs and lower lows. If we can hold that area, would be nice for a long. If not, we do have this area down here coming in $1.89. would be that next real area of support to watch for. We had DOT requested as well. Let's get that one pulled on up all the way down there. DOT is been quite battered down, but it is above an area we wanted to see hold. So let's get this pulled up on that higher term time frame. You can see how heavily it has been consolidating here, and on top of our old area from way back here. So we have seen that come to play over and over and over again, and this is where we've consolidated on top of. So DOT could get some upside movements, but it has a very, very heavy local resistance that we would need to get above first. Let's see how it's looking on the hourly for a potential trade here. We are seeing some upside movements on that MACD and prime oscillator, but it is coming in with a little bit of toppiness there. So this would be our local resistance to kind of break right now, $4.07. That's where we see area for a SWE over and over and over again. We do have local resistance directly above us that we would need to see us get above here. There's a few ranges. We are seeing that local resistance come in at $3.40. That's a short-term time frame resistance. We will kind of have to see if we continue to get that rollover here on our prime oscillator and that MACD. It is coming in a little bit sideways there. So let's see what the 4 hours looking like real quick. 4 hour does have that hopium as well, and 15-minute does look a little bit nice for some pullback action. I'd probably want to enter around that 337 area, so set a limit order, get a little bit of bouncing, see if we can get above our resistance. That 50% line would be that target at about 350. So y'all let me know what asset you would like me to take a trade on that, and we will get to it. We did have several news articles to go over this morning, and let's get on over to those. Fed Jerome Powell talking about the markets. That's what gave us a little bit of some movements yesterday. Nothing too crazy, but he does say that he thinks stock prices appear fairly high valued, meaning that the markets might be a little bit overheated. We have been making all-time highs on a lot of assets, so not too far off the mark there. This is why I had a lot of concerns if we had this rate cut, and it's also kind of the moves that they're kind of actually paying attention to, the moves in the market and their data that were giving me concerns about a rate cut to begin with. So diving on into this one, we do look at overall financial